Hello everybody, this is EPN10, and welcome to another Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare video. Now today, I'll be bringing you the Sanitation Expert. This video goes by really fast, but I really don't mind because I do not want to talk about this variant for 10 minutes. I mean for over 10 minutes, alright? There's not much to say about him. Okay, now this is the TrashCanMan. Actually, he's not the TrashCanMan, it's the Sanitation Expert. I just like calling him that. And this is the toxic variation of the Engineer. And pretty much all the fire variants are better than their toxic counterparts. The toxic characters in this game, there's only like 4 variants, and they're horribly misrepresented in this game. The only thing you really see is Toxic P, but the only reason, like, he technically deals less damage than Fire P because the fire damage over time is better, but the Toxic P beats it, well, for some people, because, you know, he has a larger splash radius. And yeah, Dr. Toxic, the Sanitation Expert, as you see here, 40 damage, so that's not bad, right? So yeah, what's keeping this guy, like, so behind, right? I mean, he has a magazine size of 14, he does 40 damage, which technically with the damage over time is 42, right? So he's dealing like 42 damage per shot, because like the second you land the direct damage, 40 damage, the toxic gets applied, and then it basically refreshes again. So like if I hit you and you already took 1 damage over, like, you know, 1 point of toxic damage, it's gonna get reapplied if I hit you again. So technically he deals 42 damage, right? And 42 times 3 is 126. And that's just enough to kill every plant in the game minus some of the chompers. So yeah, why is this variant so bad? His fire rate is pretty good. It's not, I mean, it's okay. His damage is excellent with toxic damage over time. And that really good toxic damage, as I said. You could kill stuff in 3 direct shots, technically. And yeah, 40 damage. His range, as you can see here, is not severely limiting. Look. That's not bad. Magazine size is 14. That's insane, especially for something that deals so much damage and shoots, you know, fairly quickly. Not fairly quickly, but it has like an average fire rate for an Engineer, I guess. So yeah, what's keeping this guy so down? The only thing I could see keeping this guy down is his trajectory and the way he shoots. Because a lot of people, I'm assuming, have a lot of trouble landing stuff with this variant. If this variant was like a direct, you know, direct shot variant, I think people would use this guy a lot more often. But yeah, many people consider this guy to be like one of the worst variants of toxic, you know, one of the worst Engineer variants. I think, right? People, do you like this guy or not? Because I don't see him in any servers at all. He's like barely used. And you see the teams there is absolutely sad. But I just go on with the video. I'm only using the Sanitation Expert, so it's cool. I mean, the chompers are kind of a nightmare to this guy because you cannot finish them off in 4 shots. 4 direct shots is only 160 damage, and yeah. I mean, if this thing did 45, I think people will start to use him a lot more, and it'd be really strong against chompers, basically. Like, if this variant dealt 45 damage per shot, I think this thing will be the chomper killer. Like, this is the go-to character if you want to kill chompers pretty fast. And I'm having like trouble there. I got an assist off of that. That's pretty cool. And I'm just summoning brown coats. Nothing special here. And I myself don't have too much trouble landing shots, but like if something's moving from a distance, you're just not gonna hit it. Like this thing is, I found this thing to be pretty amazing in taking down pea shooters in turret mode. Because, you know, they're stationary, and this thing deals 32 damage to them when they're stationary. That's enough to kill them in 4 shots. And that's pretty fast. 4 shots of this, killing a turret, pea shooter in turret mode is pretty good. And as you see here, look, I'm just missing all the time. If anything moves, you just can't, I don't know how to explain it, but it's really hard to land a shot if something's moving. So this is not the type of variant that will do a ton of damage to the garden, aka the electrician, or like the welder, or like the plumber. This is not the type of variant that, you know, that could kill stuff really fast, like, you know, 1-to-1. Like, let's say the Landscaper. Landscaper does that really fast. Because with the Landscaper, you can at least time your shots. With this thing, it's just so weird. I just never even got the chance to, you know, really do well with him. But I'm assuming if you practice a lot, then you could get to it. But yeah, I can't really say anything about that for now. So like, he's kind of weak in confrontations, you know, where plants move around a lot. But if you stun someone, it's amazing. And as you see here, I'm just testing the range out. And the range isn't terrible, but it's kind of limited. Yeah, oh, never mind. That's pretty good, right? Be the judge of yourselves on that. So, yeah, it's not terrible. But as I said, like, confronting things 1v1 is just bad with this if the target's moving a lot. Unless, of course, you stun them and you get so... Like, you'll immediately kill the person, the plant. If something's moving at a medium distance, you might have trouble. And anything that's moving from far range, just forget about it. Unless they're in stationary mode. Like, unless they're like a pea shoot or sunflower in turret mode. You don't even bother with like moving cacti or something in the background. It's just gonna take too much timing or something like that. I'm not sure. But I don't even think it's possible. There we go. Shoot that sunflower in the face. And what about his splash damage? And also, like, when you're trying to take over a guard, you know how to get anywhere either. I think with a lot of practice, someone could get pretty good with this. And I get goofed. I'm like, oh crap, better not be a chomper. But it wasn't, so I'm okay. This is a complete run over, as you can see. I'm just testing this thing out. I think I could use it in a more serious game, but I don't think that's going to end really well for me. Oh well. It's like so many players shooting like 3 players for 1 plant. So that's why like you should expect assist. So what about his splash damage? I believe his splash damage is 15. This cacti. I believe his splash damage is 15, and it's not even that, like, it's not super, it's like nothing like the Toxic Pea. It's not ridiculously like a broken radius or anything like the Plumber or like the Electrician. So yeah, 15 damage. You generally do not want the splash damage. So splash damage with like 2 damage over time, doing 15 damage with a really limited amount of splash radius, and like, you know, okay fire rate. You're not gonna want that. You're gonna want direct shots with this thing. This is one of those variants where, you know, direct shots really do make this variant. If you're not to get direct shots with this, don't even bother, because it's just gonna be too slow to kill anything with. And I throw this horn right there, it gets absolutely no one. Alright. We have so many engineers, I just noticed that. So I'm just chilling over here. I'm just gonna go over there. I'm trying to get this metal pedal. Look at this. It's so hard to time the shots. As you saw there, it took forever to kill him with the splash. That was a metal pedal, but again, he was not even at full health. He was not even close to it. Now I'm like, uh-oh. So I go on top of this. I don't even think this works, but I was just, oh crap. I was like, oh my goodness. There you go. But yeah, direct is pretty good, but if you don't get it, it's not gonna happen. Plus, and as I said before, it's pretty difficult trying to, you know, get direct damage when people are moving from far away. And as you saw there, like, I almost got completely destroyed by that, like, that burst of damage. Like, it was like a plasma pea that hit me, and then it was like a bunch of, and then it was the alien flower, spore mist. I was afraid I'd die to the spore mist, and more splash from that annoying plasma pea. So here I'm up here. Like, you just gotta get used to the trajectory. That's like the biggest, like, that's the biggest weakness people might find in this thing. But I guess if you practice, you could become pretty good with this thing. And I noticed that, like, sometimes, like, when you hit something, like you expect the trajectory to go, like, the way where the reticle points. But sometimes the garbage, whatever you want to call it, the ammo or whatever, the trajectory, or like the bullet or whatever you want to call it, it goes like a bit, I think, a bit higher than usual. I'm not 100% sure how to explain it. But, like, basically the crosshair sometimes is inaccurate, and, like, it, like, lobs up or something like that when you don't expect it to. Like, I've been thrown off by it a couple of times. But yeah, overall, it's I mean, it's not a variant you're gonna see every day, but it's not terrible either. I guess if you practice. And as you see here, look at this. It's a complete nightmare. It's just a complete nightmare to even do anything with this thing. Look at this. It's just a nightmare. I just can't hit stuff from far with it, especially if something's moving. If you stun them, great. You get the kill, basically. If you don't, then it's gonna be a nightmare. And imagine doing this against a sunflower, right? He's like dancing left and right, and he's burning you with like the fire, with the fire flower, and he's dancing around his little plant. As you saw there, bam, really good stuff. That is a pea shooter in turret mode. This thing just takes care of them beautifully. You don't have to worry about anything. But yeah, imagine facing a fire flower from like medium range, and they're just jumping around their little flower, healing all the time. You're gonna die. You're just not gonna do anything to it unless you stun it. So overall, I guess, like, if you want to practice with him a lot and, you know, time your shots or whatever, then you could do it. But yeah, timing shots with that thing is pretty difficult. Like, I don't see myself doing it consistently anytime soon. But if you want to go and, you know, have yourself a challenge, then you could do that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.